Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. I'm sitting here with a friend, Floyd Hancock. How are you doing today, Floyd?
I am doing wonderful. Things are great, and I'm looking forward to the future. So I'm doing
Great.
good. Yeah, I
Like
think
to
as
hear
well.
that.
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
Yep.
Anyways, so today's topics, we're going to focus on music first. I've got some little bit of info here for that, I think. Let me see if I can get to it. Yep. Oh, wait. Last time I did this, it cut me off. So
Okay.
basically, in a nutshell, I can post things in the feed after the show. But with music and the frequencies of music, since the early 1940s, the music industry was kind of conned into changing the frequency of the tuning of our instruments to 440 hertz, which, if you look at the 440 frequency in action, it is sporadic. It's not
Yeah.
uh, even. And if you look at it under 528 or 432, it is actually more lotus looking.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
yeah, and the first person that brought that into play was Adolf Hitler,
Yeah.
and he used it so he could uh, more easily control people's thoughts and minds by the frequency being emitted into their energetic field, and it actually causes them to be more obedient.
Hmm.
The worst musics to listen to are rock and roll and rap because they really push those frequencies into our psyche, and
Yeah.
it's not very fun, and it makes your conscience and your energy field act like a sponge for darkness.
Yeah.
Did you know
Yep.
that?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me saying real quick, no, I was when I was in youth. I remember being in a youth group, and we had that study, and there is actually some evidence if you play some of the songs backwards, you have some demonic uh, uh, sayings inside of it, and which I did not know until I was like freaked out. I was like, oh my God, these are my favorite songs, you know? And when I found out, I was like, okay, okay. Yeah, because God gave us the ability to have music, and it's like Satan took over and took over their mind, and to make uh, different types of music that was not good. And yeah, you're right. Hitler used it to control minds, but so does the devil. So uh, yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
Right. So with that actually out of the way, that was just a quick explanation. Like I do this to kind of crack open little eggs. You know what I mean? So people can like, oh, hey, that's interesting. Let me go do a little bit of research on that and and find out what Chris is saying and find a little bit more. It's to initiate the process of using their own minds to critically think and analyze and problem solve. It's to help people with they're opening their third eye, kind of. It's the sixth chakra,
Yeah,
and it's like you don't want to jump around, but it's like I have to focus on what is important to me and what interests me and not be like all over the place, like trying to follow what everyone else is doing. I'm not trying to do that.
yeah,
This is about, open minds. So when we open our minds, there's a lot of possibilities that could mean other things or lead us to other spiritual paths that we didn't know existed.
correct, correct.
And so with that being said, I'm going to jump into the next topic, and that would I don't remember exactly the trifold flame of creation. It's indigo, magenta, and gold.
Hmm.
There's some pictures you can see of people doing selfies with the sun behind them, and you can see the rainbow effect coming off their crown.
Yeah,
That's the trifold flame. That's when you actually start to activate your pineal gland, and since it sits in darkness, it thrives for light. So it's reaching for light, and all the light that we bring into our minds, not like physical light, but the sunlight does help.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
the more light that you absorb actually helps your pineal gland open. And the rainbow effect, like the background that we see on my video here,
Yeah,
that is actually a rainbow effect. It's got like 15 different colors in it. And
nice.
like colors, each color has a frequency, and the higher frequency that you make or you access a higher frequency, the broader spectrum of light that you can see. But like in our physical perceptions, we can only see like a limited like 256 colors,
Right.
you know, and like mostly reds, greens, blues, yellows, whites. But white, I don't think of a color.
It's
White lacks all color.
yeah, yeah.
Where black is a mix of a bunch of colors.
Actually,
They're like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
where white will reflect, where black will absorb.
White is a mixture of every color that there is in the spectrum, and black. Yeah, that I don't know about. I don't know
Right.
about. So
Different perspectives, and that's good to know. You know,
yeah,
it's like I don't believe that all of us should agree or believe in the same things. That's what open mindedness is about.
right,
You know,
right.
it's having different perspectives and, you know, intuitions and connecting with other things than just the physical that we believe is real. But yet when you open your mind to what's the possibility that it might be this as well,
Yeah,
you know, then that gives your brain something to analyze, something to work on, you
right.
know.
Yeah,
And when our mind is fluid, we are learning. When we have a solid mind, we're basically we're closed minded.
yeah,
When our mind is fluid, we have more susceptibility to learning things that we didn't usually know. And so like um when this whole ordeal happened back in 2016 of the winter solstice, you know, I wasn't in a good spot, you know, and the things I was learning were interesting to me. You know, it may not have been the right way to learn things,
yeah,
but the things that were thrown in my face that made me look and open my eyes to wait. You know, I believe in aliens and stuff, or I did, you know, but we're all aliens in one way or another.
hmm,
You know, it's like, but to me, a true alien is something foreign to this world,
yeah,
right? Something
yeah,
that didn't originate here. So, like when you look at Native Americans, right, or the ancient peoples that came here originally, they're still aliens. You know, like the cedar races and all that. Like
yeah,
evolution, there is actual Earth children that evolved through the times that came from here. Mother Earth birthed them, you know,
yeah,
from rocks and sticks. You know, from the ashes they emerged, or from the mud and sticks they emerged. And also, you know, there was other other beings that came here to assist our progressions, you know, and like, but when we look at the creation flame, there's actually 15 densities per dimension, and
hmm.
there's more than just seven.
That I did not know.
Yes. So like the things that I've been poking my nose into have actually been touching to my soul. You know, I'm not saying that everybody has to follow these plates, but I do reference them a lot in my work, and they are the Cloister Doratora plates, or the CDT plates. It's from the Lemurian and Atlantean eras, and it speaks a lot of crystal technology, the electric wars of Lemuria, the fall of Atlantis. It
Right,
talks about which races came here and have gained control of our time matrix.
Yeah.
or of our world.
Yeah.
It tells which races emerged from what races and how they've created their hybrids by intermixing with humans and all that kind of stuff. And it makes a lot of sense to me because, like, I used to be really deep into conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but not so much anymore. But what I learned down the rabbit holes has pointed me in the direction of, yeah, what I'm learning in these things is pretty spot on. And just like the translators of the Emerald Tablets, you've heard of those.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Well, to be quite frankly honest, the Emerald Tablets were entrusted to Thoth. One of the plates, there was 12 plates, all right? And one of these plates in specific was entrusted to Thoth as a guardian of that plate. This was back when he was in the Emerald Covenant. See, now there's the Black Sun agenda, the Belial agenda, and then the Emerald Covenant. And
Mm,
these three agendas were against each other, but now the other two have sided against the Emerald Covenant to eliminate humans and the genetic coding from existence because they want to be in control. You know, there's
right.
12 original tribes of Israel. There was 12 tribes. There was 12 gates. There's 12 strands of DNA potential for us humans. And
Mhm.
if we unlock these, we have a potential to unlock 24. And then from 24, it doubles to 48. And this isn't a single strand. This is a double helix,
Right.
you know? And it talks about that in the books of Solomon. It talks about them in the CDT plates. It talks about them in the Mahabharata, you know? And there's a lot of ancient texts that cover the genetics of creation. And
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty interesting subject. Um, as far as, you know, everybody believing in that, it's like, I'm not trying to force it down people's throats. All I can do is just bring them the water or lead them to the water. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna force people to drink this shit, but
But
it
it's
is.
yeah. It's like when I say something, I don't expect people to believe me or to follow it. But I'd like to see people to like investigate, and find out for
Do their
themselves.
own research. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, because they might find something completely different than me, and they'll tell me what they found. I'm like, oh wow. And I go back and maybe find something even more different to tell them. So it goes on and
right,
on. Learning never stops. So
exactly. And it helps people find correlating information.
yes, yes,
So, you know, and that's one way I research is by finding correlating information, make information that matches each other, maybe not to the T, but there's certain clues that you can find in different areas of where you look, the way you word a search. You
yeah,
know, like I will search keywords or phrases, or I'll take three keys of the same subject and place them together in the same search, and I will find even more information that matches what I'm looking for. So
right,
like I'll get an intuitive thought, right? Being cognizant or whatever it's called.
yeah,
Knowing something without having to research it, but you just finally like suddenly know something or know about something. And then you
hmm,
go and like blah, 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 and look it up and you find what you're thinking. And it's
yeah,
not like predictive programming or nothing. It's just like you are using your mind and your brain and your intelligence to search for stuff that normally like Joe Cool wouldn't look up. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
You know who Joe Cool was, right?
I don't know who that
Yeah.
is.
Oh, or Joe Camel.
And that I do know. Okay.
That one we do know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know when I
Thank you,
was
Terry. Go
I
ahead.
know I was really into the Bible, and I remember that we were always taught not to look at other anything that's outside the Bible. So we were being taught to be closed-minded and not to really think for ourselves, but to just read what the Bible says and listen to what the minister says. And then when I got to a one verse that says that we have to guard our minds, I'm thinking, and I read that why, I'm thinking, something doesn't sound right here. So then I
Right.
started, listening to other people, And one guy says, bro, just get out of your Bible and start looking at the world as it really is, and you will learn something. And it kind of like shocked me, and it kind of offended me in a way. But you know what? He was right. He was right. And when I started looking into it, and uh, I was amazed what I was missing. I was amazed uh, what do you call it? The shield over your eye, the blindfold on my eyes was starting to be lifted off little by
The
little.
veil,
Yeah, the veil. And
the wool,
something.
right?
And once that was lifted off, I was like, I totally amazed um, what I had, what I was not learning. And sadly, and I don't mean to offend anybody by this, but sadly, there are a lot of, I'm gonna say Christians or ex-Christians or whatever out there that still believe that they should not look beyond the Bible, and you're gonna miss so much if you don't. Yeah, guard your mind to certain things. I mean, don't if you get into whatever Satanism. That's not my style, but some people get into that, and I'm okay with it as long as they're okay with it. I just don't believe that, but when they tell me something, I listen to it, and I say, okay, where are they going with this? And they're not always incorrect, but they're not always correct either. But they always have something to offer. I don't care what side it is, if it, or a Democrat, Republican, atheist, Christian, Muslim. We all have something to offer and to teach each other. And if we close our minds, well, we're lost. I can say that.
Exactly. Well, when you close your mind, you prevent yourself from expanding also, and
Yeah.
seeing those other avenues that you could possibly learn something valuable.
And growing, yes, yes.
And like, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep talking over
No, you're
you.
good. This
I
is you and me. This is you and me talking about subjects,
Yeah,
and
you're right. I don't see anybody else there. Um,
oh, we
uh,
got 7 viewers as of now on my side.
oh,
A lot of
thank
comments. Daisy's here, Terry's here,
yeah,
Corey's here.
Daisy.
Um, I don't see anybody else making comments yet, but Terry says, "Well said."
Hey,
Now you
Tara.
see that one, right?
Yeah, I do. Let's
Okay.
see.
Um,
Love you all.
Corey says hello.
I don't remember
Terry
where.
says, "Hey everyone." So she's talking to everybody, not just you and me. So we got some viewers. So that's
Good.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, Daisy's here.
Okay. Hi, Floyd Hancock. I just saw that. Hey, Daisy. Love you.
Jenna's here.
Jenna. Hey, Jenna.
So moving on to here's one that I found interesting also is crystal technology.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, I haven't found too much, but I did find the Andara crystals from Lemuria,
Okay.
Andara, the Andara crystals, which are highly healing, and they come in many different colors, and there's two different types of Andara crystals. There was the Lemurian crystals, and then there's the Lemurian seed Andara crystals, which what I understand of it is they spread these crystal seeds around the globe in certain areas, like where the portals and the high energy vortexes are,
Yeah.
to grow these rocks or these crystals. They're rocks, they're minerals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, to have healing, to increase their psychic abilities, to help them increase their spiritual energy and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, there was also these other pylon crystals and stuff that they use to power up their habitations with, like their cities or their dwellings.
Sure. Sure.
Um, and the electric wars kind of did away with those. Um, and that's how one of the Stargates, I want to say, I believe it was Stargate 3,
Yeah.
that got smashed during the electric wars, and that's what sunk Lemuria into the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Because when you blow something up inside the earth, all that land falls down because
Hmm.
that whole space opened up and blew everything away. Then
Yeah.
that land sunk down and then it filled with water.
Yeah. Did
But
you? Sorry. Go
huh?
ahead.
Go
Did you
ahead.
hear that the Chinese went to the moon? They brought back a crystal. Did you see that?
I
It was
didn't.
oh, it looked like any other crystal here on Earth, but it was very interesting that these crystals are probably I'm sure it's on every planet if we just look for them. And I just found it pretty cool actually that they actually brought it's probably about 5 or 6 inches long. It's crystal clear, you know.
Right.
So beautiful. Yeah, it was kind of cool. I had no idea.
Exactly. Each crystal has a different purpose. Um, they do emit frequencies. They glow, like Corey just said. They glow. Yep. Um, some with the moon though. If you look at other planets and you can see, like, look at Saturn and his moons, right? You've got Pandora. You've got like what 12 different moons, and they all look different. They all have like some of them look like they could inhabit life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the movie, was it
Mhm.
Avatar? How they're
Yeah.
on Pandora and it looks just like Earth, but you got the floating mountains and you've got all this. They have the worldly deity they call Awa and all that. Our moon's the only moon that doesn't look like that. Why does ours look so blah?
That I do
Is
not.
Does anybody have an answer for that? Because I've been wondering, like, why does it not spin? We only see one surface,
Isn't that funny? How that is? It's like it's being controlled by something. So
right?
yeah, to me, it's I've heard so many times they think it's a ship, and I'll refer back to the Bible again. Uh, at one time, before the great floods happened, there was no moon, and
Right.
according to the Bible, and then when the Earth caught the moon as it was passing, it pulled all the tides and everything, and that's when the great flood has happened. But we've had a moon since then, so they're thinking that the moon has come from the Earth. Uh,
I have a couple of different theories about the moon. I'm not saying any one of these is accurate, but I have one feeling it's a satellite.
yeah, yeah.
Another one is it was created by man and elevated up there somehow. And the third is I believe we used to have two moons.
We actually
And
do have moons, but it's actually an asteroid. It's actually following. So, yeah.
right. Because I did find an ancient writing of Thoth. So I'm going back to Thoth for a second. This was during the Atlantean Hebridean age. He wrote something called the Attunement to the Zodiacal Initiation of Capricorn, and
Mm,
that's my birth sign. And he speaks of a time when the unicorn once dwelled here in the energies when they were higher. I don't know. Everybody doesn't believe in unicorns, but there used to be mystical creatures that dwelled on the earth with us. You
mhm.
know, Pegasuses, unicorns, dragons, all that stuff. And when one of the eyes was plucked from the sky, it says. So basically, when one of the moons, you know, or was plucked from the sky, so destroyed because it's not there anymore,
Right.
you know, um, so that's when the energetic field fell because the moon keeps the gravity going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so when the earth fell from that higher state of vibration, so did the unicorn. The unicorn doesn't manifest physically anymore. Very seldom. It'll come through the sky as a silver streak across the night sky.
Hmm. Okay.
Scotland's flag is a unicorn. So I mean, it's not just something that people just thought up of one day.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe there's all kinds of things that we can't see
Right.
with our human eye. I do believe I never believed in what do you call those fairies, little fairies, but they're finding little mummies of fairies with wings with little
You saw that too?
yeah skeletons. And I was like, what the heck?
Yep. There was actually a guy in Italy. There was a museum in Italy. You can do a YouTube search on this, and it's actually the way I found it was fairies and fae remains of some, like, the remains of fairies hidden in a museum in Italy or France, and like the display picture is like some weird looking face with its mouth open and it's got jagged teeth on it.
Yep,
But if you
yep.
click on that, well, see, if you click on that, it'll actually go into the video and it'll show you all the slides. It'll show you each little fairy has a pin in it and a little note that says where they found it, how they
Oh,
found it. Uh, Little fairy remains in France. There you go. Yeah, Corey said it. And Candace said something. Unicorn is better than a seagull, and laughs, and I laughed too just a minute ago because of that. And what's funny about that is when the Capricorn finds his spirituality, the unicorn actually represents the undefiled conscience of
mm,
the Capricorn. So it's it correlates. It's something that I'm not going to deny my birth sign at all.
yeah.
Each one of us has a mystical creature attached to our birth sign that we need to learn about also. It's like my physical sign is a sea goat, right? It's a sea land god because it's an earth sign that lives in the ocean.
Okay. Okay. I've never. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. Hmm.
Yeah. But the spiritual animal of my birth sign is a unicorn. So
Okay.
what's your birth sign?
Cancer. And then
Cancer. What's your physical? It's a crab, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you look up the spiritual connection with Cancer's birth sign, and it should lead you to a spiritual or a mystical creature.
Okay. I'm very attracted to dolphins, so who knows? Maybe. I have no idea.
Maybe.
Land animals, or I love elephants. They're my favorite. So who knows?
Elephants are cool.
Yeah,
Um, what else? Oh yeah. Elephants symbolize a lot of things like family, stability, memory, structure,
yeah.
steadfastness.
Words off,
Um,
words off,
huh?
words off evil. The
Yeah,
elephant tusk up. Yeah.
yeah,
Trunk. I'm sorry. So yep.
right.
So
And Candace says dolphin is one of her spiritual animals.
cool, cool. No wonder I like Candace. No, I don't really like Candace. I love Candace. I love everybody. I
Thank you
love.
for sharing, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of things that we can find inward as well. A lot of answers we can find inward, like, things about ourself mainly.
Yeah.
Like this is where I'm going to transition the talk into light and shadow work. I found a good article by Carl Jung today that talks about the shadow work and how it's reflecting on the things that upset us and
Yeah.
that offend us and things that get us angry and upset. Those are obstacles that we need to jump over. We need to transmute those with love and
Yeah.
understand ourselves in a way where we don't get so flared when certain subjects are brought up. We need
Yeah.
to be um, completely comfortable with who we are,
Yeah.
you know, regardless of what anybody could possibly say or do. And that's also it's either the second or third agreement of the Toltec is don't take things personally and don't make assumptions. Those are the second and third agreements. And so when we follow those guidelines, it doesn't matter if somebody is talking about something, it's not bothering us because we are comfortable with who we are.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm not there yet. I'm just be honest with you. I
well,
need. I need.
that's okay. Not very many of us are.
Okay.
And
Just being
go
honest.
ahead.
I'm just being honest. I got a lot of
Is
work to do, so I'm working.
honesty is key, man.
Yeah.
We have to be honest with ourselves, and others will see the honesty that we have about ourselves, and then it earns respect. It earns longer friendships, stronger friendships, because if you're not somebody that's just going to make up a story to impress somebody. I know a lot of people like that. Like back in
Yeah.
my old town, there was a few people I knew that would just make up stories for a conversation that they
Yeah.
had never been through,
Right.
but they were good storytellers.
Right. Right.
But like they wouldn't live by their story. They'd be like, oh, I hate people that rob other people, or I don't hang around people that do drugs or rob or lie. But yet, if you observe them long enough, you'll catch them doing the same exact things that they dislike,
Yep. Yeah.
that they are opposed to. They will slip up eventually and do the exact same things they despise. And
Always.
that's how you can tell,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
who's more honest with themselves.
Right. Right. That is true because I have a friend. He's kind of dealing with himself and everything, and his own sexuality, as I'll say. But yeah, I still see him on text once in a while, putting down certain people. And
Who?
my friend, I'm not going to mention his name because he could be watching, but a friend of mine gets on Facebook or whatever, and he puts down certain like homosexuals or things that he doesn't understand, but yet, but when you look at him, you know he's hiding something. So sometimes when we say things against something, it's because we're hiding that inner being that we don't want to admit that we are. And with my friend, I almost said his name. My friend, I had brought that to his attention, and now he's very careful about what he says now because I always call him out. I
Right.
said, "Are you that? Because you sure are talking about
You
that a
know,
lot." So yeah,
I like to use the term "you spot it, you got it" type thing,
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly,
because a lot of the things that we hide about ourselves, we are going to notice
and
about
talk
others.
and talk about it. Yep,
Right.
yep.
So the one thing with shadow work is actually accepting all those things about ourselves from childhood
Hmm.
all the way up to our lives now. The shadow work that we do will actually transmute that into being accepted in our own life.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so when we see others, then we can do the work with them and help them understand themselves better.
right, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the difference between shadow work and light work
Hmm.
is the light work will actually focus on the good things about you
Yeah, yep.
and strengthen the good things about you. It's not necessarily good and bad things, it's the things that we fear and the things that we embrace.
Hmm.
All right. And a lot of people go around saying, "Oh, I'm a light worker," but what do they know about doing that kind of work?
Right, right, right,
You
right.
know?
Yeah,
So it's it's a complicated subject. It's
well, I go by I don't put names on myself. Um, I let other people tell me what they see in me, and I'll think about that, and uh, like Bradley says, Floyd, he goes, "You are a shaman, you are this, and you are that." I believe him, you know.
right.
He's got a lot of knowledge, and I love him. But he has a lot of knowledge, and he's opened my eyes to a lot of new things. But not just him, the whole groups, all the groups, uh,
Right.
has opened my eyes. So it's been a positive experience.
Good. So let's get on to you know, who who in your life close to you physically in the real world, not like on social media and stuff, that you've actually helped them open their mind up to, you don't have to name names, but like a cousin or a sister or a brother, like I feel that I've helped a few of my friends in life with
Sure.
discovering hidden things about themselves.
Yeah.
And like a good friend of mine from California, bless his heart, he's a good dude. Um, that's why we're still close friends today. Like we've been through a lot. That's how I got this scar on my finger.
What do you do,
Thanks,
Bob?
buddy. 12 years old playing with knives.
Oh man.
But Well, there's a reason to it. We were 12. We were kids. We were home alone. We were old enough to take care of ourselves. We had my sister there with us and another neighbor girl, and we were all just hanging out, having a good time. And we looked out the front window, and there was a guy sitting in a car with binoculars, looking in the window at us. And me and my buddy were like, "Hey, man, that's not cool. Let's go f him up, right?
Mhm.
So let's go grab some knives and stab him." But by the time we got back, he was gone. But now
Right.
here we are, ADHD kids with nothing better to do. But now we got knives in our hands,
Let's
so
sword fight.
we want to see how sharp they are, right? So here we go. We take pieces of paper and we put the knife on the top and we slide the knife down the paper and it rips perfectly clean in half.
Oh
And
man.
and it's his turn to test his knife. Here I'm holding the paper. He hacks at it like a ninja,
Oh no.
misses the paper and hits my finger. So that's
Oh.
a nice hospital ride there and 12 stitches later.
Oh my
But
God. Yep. Yep. I had a similar thing happen. So yeah.
yeah. Um, you sure did switch over from YouTube. That's cool. Yes, a very big lesson learned, and that's why I'm always telling others like don't play with knives, don't play with weapons. They're not safe.
Uh,
They
right.
hurt you, they hurt other people, and pretty much we've pretty much covered everything on the list today. Briefly. Um if does anybody want me to go over any of the topics again real quick just to rehash if you just came on? Um so we got music, the frequencies of music in the modern day compared to what they were, like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley's music was played in a 432 hertz, which was uh, more resonance,
Hmm.
um, compared to the 440 frequency, which is more non-resonant. It's more sporadic. It's not. It's If you look at 440 hertz under actual when it's being played, it's a ball, but it's got these spikes coming out of it everywhere, right? So imagine my fist is the ball, but you've got spikes all the way around it, like a starburst, but it's not even. It's like going zzz, right? And when you play it under 432 or 528, it actually looks more like lotus petals. I have a couple of screenshots that I couldn't upload, um, but I will post these into the chat after the show so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. But this guy who did different examples and different notes, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? In different notes. And you could see the petals of the lotus. It was in sand on a piece of metal, and the frequency played through the metal, and the sand actually formed
Oh yeah.
different patterns
Yeah. I seen
that
that.
were symmetrical patterns.
Yeah.
And then he switched it to 440, and you could see how it goes, and it's like jagged and zigzaggy. If you look in nature, there's really not much zigzaggy. Birds fly in a formation. Fish swim in a bubble-looking formation. Bees' nests are round or domish looking. Um, you know, honeycombs,
Mm.
flowers. If you look at a tree and then look at the human lung, the roots of a tree or the branches of a tree without leaves on them, and then you look at the human lung, they look exactly the same. They've got all the little fingers that come out of them. You got the trachea and the bronchial tubes, and then you've got the branches that come off of them. If you look at a tree trunk and all the branches, it looks like a lung upside down.
Ugh.
You know, I speak with my hands. What can I say?
Huh.
SeaWorld does treat their animals kind of shitty.
Not
I actually met I
the
met Free
yeah.
Willy, the whale they used in Free Willy when I went to Newport, Oregon when I was a kid with my dad, and we went and kind of had pictures to look at and kind of like glanced upon it. And there was actually his fin was bent over from the chlorinated pool,
Uh,
and like it's not very healthy for their animals at all. They should be in natural environment, at least like make SeaWorld on the ocean and have like their natural water, you know.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't think we should keep animals captive like that. That to me is horrible. It's cruel, you know. Um, to observe them is one thing, but to keep them away from their family and their natural habitat is just it's horrible. It's like being
Yeah.
in prison or something,
You
you
don't
know?
want to keep them away from their pod. No.
Oh no.
It's
Uh,
it's like I'd rather observe animals in their natural habitat,
yes,
you
yes,
know, and see how they function and react in their natural environment rather than being captive where they're miserable. You can tell they're miserable, you know, like they're trained to act a certain way or to perform tricks and do little tail flaps and catch fish and all that. It's cool it's cool and fun to watch, but like yeah,
I
yeah, I
think
do too a little bit. I get
I
really worked up about the SeaWorld issue. Candace says,
uh,
you know, it's it's not it's not natural, you
no,
know.
we got the Fort Wayne Zoo here. It's a really big zoo. I've been there twice, and the more I think about it, I'd like to see them shut down, every one of them. The more I think about it, um, because they are away from their habitat, and they've only got a certain area to run, and there's a safari there with uh, giraffes and stuff like that. And it's not really fair. It really isn't. They should be in their natural habitat because they're not because they're still there in the wintertime. You know, and that's not right. You know, and we need to just release all the animals and let them go back. You know, just make sure that we keep an eye on them in case they start, becoming extinct. We could, do whatever we can to keep them populated. But as far as keeping them for pets, I'm against that. I really am. I know someone's going to say, well, you got a dog and cat. Well, I don't know what to say about that. You're right. But some of those animals, like my little wiener dogs, would never survive outside in the habitat. So, yeah,
Right.
someone like
Well,
us to help them out.
uh, I'm going to put this post up there because this makes a lot of sense. He says zoos are often a presentation of animals in cages, which that is completely accurate. And it also kind of reminds me of the way humans are observed,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, or if you ever visit a jail, right? If you've ever visited a jail, you've got animals in cages, right?
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like, you know, paying to go see a bunch of animals imprisoned, walking through the animal jail, you
Yeah.
know, they feed them and they bathe them and they clean their stalls, but isn't that like how jail is too? They don't have any free reign to do what they please
Yeah.
openly, and
Yeah.
you know, there's a difference between animals in cages and criminals in jail cells, but it's a good analogy.
Yeah.
It's like every one of us is imprisoned in one way or another, whether it's in our mind, in our soul, or in our heart.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, sure.
and Corey says in San Diego there is a seal beach where you can walk down at them and at own risk. So neat the pups and adults.
Oh, it's an open beach, though, right?
Yes, there's a seal beach down there. We were gonna go
That's
when we
cool.
went and seen the Fourth of July festival. We were gonna go, but we forgot the way. I think, or it's too crowded.
You lost your way.
Um, yeah. There you go. Yep. Don't take my kid. That's like animal trafficking, isn't it?
Hmm.
Hey, Dad, what's going on? Yeah, we were tired and traffic was bad. I didn't know that about the gators walking up alongside the exits, though. That's pretty amazing. Like, wow. That's
Yeah.
like the time we went to Yellowstone Park when I was a kid. I was about 12 or 13, and we came up along, and we were going through the west entrance, and we were gonna go see Old Faithful, but we went down through the salt ponds instead, where the ponds were all bubbling. And um, we came along this road that was crowded with buffalo, and I hung out the window with a camera, and I was clicking shots as we drove by, and my mom was like freaking out. She's like, "You be careful, he doesn't rear your head back and get you with one of them horns." No,
Yeah.
I ducked back in the car all quick because they are actually open range there. They don't keep them all in enclosed areas. We camped out in bear country for a night. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, that's all open, all natural, and
Right.
that's the way it should be with sea life too. If we want to see them, we need to get onto a submarine and go down, not have them up here. You know, it, I don't know. We do need to, in my opinion, we do need to shut down all the zoos everywhere, put them back in their natural habitat if they can. You know.
So I'm having somebody say they can't hear me. Let me see if can you still hear me? You
I
can't
hear you.
hear me. You hear me?
I hear you.
Does that help? Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you still hear me, Dad? He must have his sunblock on. He can't hear me.
That's funny. Something's wrong with his mic or his his connection.
No, he's got his sunblock on.
Oh, there you go. And his sunglasses.
That's a joke that he always says with me. I can't hear you. I got my sunblock on.
It's funny.
Or he'll write something and say, "Hey, don't read this."
What? Randy, I'm right in the middle of something. I'll be right there. Sorry, guys. All right.
That's funny. Write something. Don't read this, but you read it. Yeah, my dad's pretty funny. Mosquitoes are eating me up, man.
Really?
Yeah.
You have mosquitoes out there too?
Yep. They're everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Can't beat them, join them. No, I don't want to be a bloodsucker. Thanks.
Yep. You vampire.
Yeah. Anyway, good show today. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Um,
I enjoyed it.
Me too. And
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of people that were impressed as well. I'm
I
glad they all showed up and made
yeah.
their presences known.
I love everybody.
And
So I hopefully see you again. So
yep.
mosquito got you.
Yeah, they don't usually if you eat a lot of garlic, they won't come around you. But they like the sweetness of the smell of the sweetness in our breath. That's what attracts them. And I've been drinking this flavored water stuff, and I've been smoking on this mod that has blueberry in it. So the sweetness is attracting them. I look down at the concrete and you can just see them swarming my legs right now. So I'm probably gonna end the video and go inside and escape from the horde of mosquitoes.
Right.
Thank you everybody for tuning in, and it was a wonderful session.
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you, Floyd, for showing.
Thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed it, and I love everybody. Hope to see you again.
Thank you. And that is a wrap, and we will do this. Tired Beats. Sorry, I'm still looking at comments and stuff. That was some funny stuff right there. This one right here. That is hilarious. I'm sorry, I'm still looking at chat, but okay, now we're done.